Hey, Facebook, here's the question for the day, maybe for the week. Recently, the Supreme Court has agreed to hear the case regarding Prop 8 in California and another case. I forget what case that is, but both of those are relative to marital rights. This issue started out in the church as a condition of same-sex relationships, which according to the book of Leviticus were out of bounds, according to most interpretation of the Old Testament time, namely, as Paul writes in the book of Romans chapter 1, which God had an issue with as well, according to Paul's writing. And so right now we are entertaining in America, I think it's like 9 states are or will be eventually embracing same-sex marriages. I think Washington State has just done it this week. So there are sins in the scripture, and then there are violations, and there are relationships. So let's kind of put this into perspective. I've heard people say, well, if you're not going to allow same-sex marriage, then you can't eat shellfish. And then women can't do certain things as well. And then et cetera, et cetera. And they tend to lump these issues under one banner, consistent with the debate of same-sex relationships as it relates to sexuality. But they're not to be understood that way. They are different because there are some factors in Scripture, including Leviticus, where those things that are a violation of codes and standards like dietary laws, there's a way of being purified from that. And even to the extent that you might violate those laws, they're not called abominable. There's a difference. So I guess my question is, are we suggesting now, or are we being told now, that after 5,773 years of human civilization, based on what we've been counting anyway, and that's based on the BC calendar counting down to 1, and then from 80 back up to 2012. We're just in 2012, but in the Jewish calendar, they're in 5773. So we're like 26 years away from the year 6000 in terms of the total age of the earth. So are we being told that it took God that long to straighten out an issue that was considered to be abominable by men's interpretation, something that would have, based on what the gay activists are saying, alienated people from God and caused hardship and had people in a closet relationship in fear of the public scorn? And so something so wrong, are we suggesting that it took God almost 6,000 years to straighten it out? And in fact, in point of fact, he had to use the courts of America to do it, a nation that's only a couple of hundred years old, whereas you got the other nations which are 500 to 1,000 years in age, and he couldn't straighten it out. He had to wait for America to come and be established. And since he was straightening it out, I guess the question is, under most definitions, since the Pilgrims came for a religion, when he did start religion in America, he couldn't straighten it out with the Pilgrims either. He had to wait till the modern presidency of Barack Obama or whoever it is that initiated these ideas took place before he could straighten out such a tragic ill based on those who believe in it. I need a little help there. Give me your feedback on this. Tell me what you think about this question.